Hiya, I hope you're keeping well. Today I thought I'd run through some tips for how to make the most out of a hooded eye shape. So by all means, go and grab your makeup bag, use whatever you've got, work along with me. I hope you enjoy. As always, everything I've used is listed in the description of the video. So if you click to make the video full screen, the title will come up along the top. Click the arrow next to it and a full list of products will drop down. But by all means, whether it's a Christmas present or something you've had for years, just use whatever you have and follow the kind of placement tips to make this work for you. When it comes to the videos on this page, I always try and keep it as literally just chatting through makeup, talking about makeup techniques, nice and breezy. But realistically this week, I feel like it would be really disingenuous to just crack on with makeup when, you know, we're all disappointed. I bet you may have had plans cancelled or you're worried about your Christmas plans. So hear me out. I know you might not have somewhere to wear this makeup today, but just go and grab your makeup bag if you fancy a 20-minute switch off. Work along with me, have a little practice, have a little decompress, and then when the time comes that you're seeing someone that you've been wanting to see or things feel a bit calmer again, you're going to know exactly what you're going to do with your makeup. Okay, let's get started on some eyeshadow tips for more of a hooded eye shape. When I started this year, I got a new diary and I wrote down every single time someone asked me a question. And one of the most requested topics is makeup looks or tips for a hooded eye shape. This would be what I would describe as, if you look at your eyes, you've potentially got less lid space. You might have more space around here and space under here, but the actual lids, sometimes when you're looking forward on, you could spend all that time on your shadow and find that it kind of disappears. One thing I would always reassure you of, whether it's your complexion, lips, eyes, wherever it is on your face, you can achieve whatever makeup look you want. It's just a case sometimes of tweaking where each colour goes so that you can see it. So whatever colours you've got in mind, you'll be able to use with these tips. The first thing I'm going to do before I go any further is use some highlighter along the brow bone. Now, one thing I would really encourage you to do if you've got a hooded eye shape, rather than focusing on the space that potentially you don't have as much of on the lids, focus on everywhere else that you can really utilise. Are you highlighting the brow bone? Are you highlighting, I'm going to do it now, the inner corners? Are you playing up the space under the lash line, under here, which is really visible when I look at you forward on, and start thinking about utilising every single part of real estate on those eyes. Now, regardless of how you're wearing your makeup, your brows can really instantly mix things up. What I'm going to use today, I haven't used this in a while actually, is the Anastasia Brow Freeze. You can use literally soap on a toothbrush will do this, or any kind of gel that you have. I'm going to brush the brows upwards to help to lift the look of the whole eye area. I keep seeing people use it like this. I'm not messing, honestly. Apparently you brush your brows backwards with it first, get all of the product in there and then brush them into place. I am actually panicking, to be honest, so just give me a second to sort this out. Now I'm going to kind of brush down the edge of that brow to sculpt the outer edge of it. Okay, just to walk you through what's going on in my head as I'm going along. I thought if I put the highlighter on first, then if I roughed it all up a bit, it wouldn't matter, because I was thinking, like, because the texture of the Anastasia is sticky, I didn't want the highlighter to clump to it if I put it on afterwards. But I think in a Ross leather trousers style situation, they've actually merged together and made some kind of paste. So probably won't do that again. But now that we're in this situation, what I'm going to do now, I've got some of the Charlotte Tilbury Legendary Brows, which is like a tinted brow gel on a tiny little wand. Let's just have a little look. I have a feeling, oh, do you know something? This is going to work really well. If I just gently tickle this over said Ross from Friends paste, we could actually end up being okay. And now there's still a bit of like excess shine around them, I'm going to just take some translucent powder to try and blot that down. Okay, let's start having a look at eyes. One of the first things I'd encourage you to do is really think about what kind of colour you could put through the waterline. If you find a liner in a colour that's really similar to your complexion, those mornings that you wake up feeling a bit tired or dull or whatever it is, that will help to neutralise the eye area and you'll feel really great. If you have a colour that will kind of contrast your eyes and bring them out a bit, that can also be really nice to put in the waterline, because then you've got this little part of your makeup working to pop your eyes. So that in mind, I'm going to use a copper colour to bring out the blue in mine. Before I make any decisions about which kinds of colours I'm going for, what kind of look I want to achieve, I would always start with a nice soft wash of whatever you would wear to bronze your skin, that kind of colour through the socket of the eye. First of all, it just gives you this lovely, soft, natural looking contour, but also I'm a big believer that it helps you to, I'm using bronzer to do this, by the way. This is the It Cosmetics by Pores bronzer. It helps you to just map out the kind of parameters of how far your eyeshadow is going to go. There are so many different ways to do your makeup, and whatever you're doing that feels good for you, there's no right or wrong. That's the last thing I want to communicate. The one thing I would say is, if you have more of a hooded eye shape, chances are you're going to be more prone to your eyeshadows creasing. And it's just one of those things, like for example, I have more of an oily T-zone, so I need to top up my powder a bit more. It might be that you just need to keep an eye on your eyeshadow a little bit more than someone else. This in mind, it can be a really good idea to use creams on a hooded eye shape, because then first of all you've got the ease of application, but then if they were to smudge a bit through the day, you can literally take your ring finger and correct it, or carry your stick with you and top it up. I'm going to show you this lovely, it's called Forbidden Rose from Laura Mercier. I used it on a reel ages ago and I've been meaning to show it to you. I'm going to apply this and use a synthetic brush to give it a more blended finish. And now I'm going to do these one at a time. The first thing I'm going to do is gently blur that outer line upwards so that we start to get this very blended socket. And because we prepped with the bronzer, it's going to bleed into that and give us a more seamless finish. I know that looks a bit patchy, but as our first layer, it's perfect. I'm going to take the same colour under the lash line. Remember that even though your lid might disappear slightly, we're always going to see this space, so make the most of it. And I'm going to take a smaller brush to buff that one in. Now we're going to go back into the lid and strengthen the original colour whilst not disturbing the blended edge. So now, rather than blending all the way up again, we're just going to soften the very edge of that. From here, you've got a couple of choices. If you wanted to, you could continue to layer and blend until you get a really dense payoff from that on its own. Set it with a touch of powder and you're done. I am going to use a tiny bit of glitter. I'm going to go in with the shade Euphoria from Peaches and Cream. And I'm going to use a glitter from the same colour family. It's another kind of sparkly purple, so that again, this will sit on top of what I've created and blend into it. But the fact that you've got this dense layer of colour will just A, help to lock everything in place, and B, help to give that little pop of colour so that even though your eye shape is potentially a bit smaller on the lid, it doesn't mean that you lose any of the drama from that space. Okay, I'm picking this up on a flat, dry brush, tapping it into the lid to make sure it's really densely packed onto the brush, and then I'm going to pat it onto each eye one by one. And then this is a really good opportunity to take stock of your makeup. If you find when you relax your face that you're losing some of those colours, like I'm looking there thinking, I've got loads of lid space I can still play with. When you merge that colour with your socket, you can choose to go up a little bit, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use this kind of plummy shadow. I don't know the name off the top of my head. It's one of the MAC ones that I know I'm going to absolutely kick myself for not knowing. I'll find it and put it in the description for you. But basically, when I buff this in, I'm going to just use this as another opportunity to take the edge of that makeup slightly higher. The annoying thing about these lights, if I'm honest with you, is that it looks really messy on the camera, but on the mirror behind me, it's not so bad. Like, you would get away with it. I'm going to blend it a bit more. But also, one of my top tips would be, especially at this time of year, don't worry about it being absolutely perfect, because A, no one cares anyway, and B, you're just wasting valuable time if you're agonising over it being even and this, that, the other, that you could just be like in your friend's kitchen having a laugh or whatever you're getting up to. Now that I've packed that on and taken it higher, I'm so much happier. I'm going to return to my bronzer and soften the edge of that additional purple. And let's call a spade here. That did take a lot longer than I would have hoped, but this is why it's actually nice to just have a little play with your makeup on a Sunday, because you know for the next time that's going to take ages, don't do it, or this is the quickest way to get the finished result, just go straight in with the MAC purple, like whatever it is that you're looking for. At least when you've had a little mindless play like we're having today, you've done that on a day when, like in my case, I'm basically, where's my blending brush? I'm basically just weighing up, am I going to continue Real Housewives of New York from series 3, or am I watching Harry Potter Deathly Hallows Part 2? These are the days to have a play, because it's not going to impact the whole of your evening getting these things even or getting them to the place where you want them to be. Now I'm going to revisit the purple pigment, get it looking nice and strong again. The sigh of relief. I was honestly looking at this thinking, I can't upload that, it looks terrible. But look at that now. I'm actually so happy with that now. I thought this video was getting binned a couple of minutes ago, but it's also a good lesson in like know when to give up. We nearly did have to give up there a minute ago, but I am actually so happy with that now. And you know, maybe this will be a little video about the power of patience. Okay, clean brush. I'm going to tidy up any spills. And seeing as I have got such a busy afternoon watching The Real Housewives, let's go in with some purple mascara as well. Sorry, back to the original theme of the video. This was another one. Using a coloured mascara, again, it's another part of your eye that you can add a pop of colour to help to bring them out, make them pop, draw attention to them. So rather than just beeline for your everyday mascara colour, have a little think about any of the colours that you might want to try for a bit of a change. And there we go, all done. Have a little think about that in relation to whatever you've already got. Look at the difference a bit of glitter has made as well. It might not be a glitter that you've got. You might have a shimmery eyeshadow or something that catches the light and it just brightens everything up a bit. And like, as those colours were going on, I was thinking the same as you were probably thinking, like, what's going on here? This is a disaster. But it will all just sort itself out and you'll be fine. So, yeah, while we're at home, this is the time to practice. And, like, would you ever have thought that would turn out okay? Because Lord knows I didn't. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. As always, please feel free to let me know in the comments anything in particular you want to see a video on and I'll get onto it for you. Just in case I miss you between now and Christmas, I'm still going to do videos, but you know, people are busy. I'm not expecting that you can watch every single thing I ever put up. If I do miss you between now and Christmas, have a lovely Christmas. Thanks for watching the videos this year. And if you need me, let's be honest, I'm probably going to be making a shortened version of this with some kind of Christmas song. So take care, and I'll talk to you soon.